BaconBit. We don't like bacon bits.
We don't like this movie.
But I'm hungry.
Wait, did you just spoil our whole bacon bit?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
That's what that's what Venom would say in the moment.
Okay.
We don't like this podcast.
Yeah, that's what he'd say. Hey, everyone, welcome to a Bacon Bit. It's us.
It's us.
Hey,
I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And Jacob.
And we saw Venom. Well, two of us saw Venom. One of us didn't get to see it.
I just sat outside in the car waiting for them to come back and tell me all about it.
Now, you see,
We
Jake,
cracked a window.
Jake got the invite to the show, and I think you said, I'm good.
Like, I got to take a nap around that time.
Yeah. Even though there's a big superhero movie coming out.
Is that what it is?
It's not a
You
superhero
mean
movie.
Aquaman?
It's a villain
Oh,
movie.
the
Supervillain
world
movie.
has enough superheroes.
Bum, bum, bum. All right, so let's talk about it real quick. We went and saw Venom. This first
Mary
little bit,
Poppins. Mary Poppins. That's what you're talking about.
Yes.
That's the big superhero
it's a
movie
horror
coming.
film,
the
yes.
first little bit of this Bacon Bit's going to be spoiler free, meaning we're going to talk about the movie in general terms and not give anything away.
That's
Yes.
right.
Then we will give a clear delineation of when we go into spoiler territory, and then we will spoil.
And I'm with you, listener.
Yeah, Jacob
because-
hasn't seen it, so
yeah, I'm going to be
And Jake,
hearing
you're
it for
okay
the
if we
first
spoil
time.
it?
Yeah, spoil away.
Okay.
So Ken, give us a little bit of the brief history of the Venom movie, how it came to be, why it's not in the Marvel Universe, but it is in the Marvel Universe.
If you remember way back in 2007 with the release of Spider-Man 3, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy.
I remember that one.
Where they rushed the villain of Venom and they gave it to Topher Grace. And to mixed results. Joel, you were okay with that version.
I was okay. I mean, there was so
He
much
just
wrong
has a
with that
terrible
movie.
face. That's really the
They
problem.
kept wanting to show his face.
Yes.
I'm like, let Venom be Venom. We don't need to see.
And it was kind of a skinny, like it really was a black Spider-Man. Like
Yeah.
it was, sorry, I was racist, but it was just a skinny version of Venom, which fans were like, that's not the Venom I know and love from the 90s, because Venom
Right.
is a 90s Spider-Man villain.
He's the second most important villain in the
He's
Spider-Man universe.
easily the third.
The third?
Yeah.
Venom?
I'm saying yours is the second. This is another Spider-Man show altogether. But now you're going to look up Spider-Man villains, huh?
No, I'm just trying to figure out because you've always said Venom is is Spider-Man's arch nemesis.
No, it's Green Goblin. That was Jake who said Venom.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
I get you two mixed up.
Wait,
He's
both look
taller.
alike. It's
He's-
our voices that sound the same, not
He's
Jake
taller.
and I.
He normally has a beard.
Oh, that's right.
Normally.
Yeah.
Sometimes I try to look fresh. Anyways, so Venom was introduced in the 1990s in the Spider-Man comics, so really late in Spider-Man's run. And it was meant to be the opposite of Spider-Man. Spider-Man tries to protect everyone. He's really quick-witted. He'll really treat everything with, humor, basically.
Yeah.
Venom is a malicious killer spider, like the same sort of humanoid figure that looks like Spider-Man, but he knows all of Peter Parker's thoughts, even knows who he is because he was once a symbiote part of Peter Parker.
A symbiote. You're going to throw that term around right
a symbiote is a parasite, which will be explained in this movie as well. It is alien goo that has come down or been brought down.
That's the technical term.
And
Alien goo, yeah.
And it infects you and just goes into you basically and controls you. Joel and I kind of talked about this a little bit on the Robot Show. There's a movie called Upgrade.
now?
and
Starring
it's
Jai Courtney.
not Jai Courtney at all.
No.
Logan Marshall-Green. You mean Tom Hardy?
I don't know at this point.
Jai Courtney?
Logan Marshall-Green, Jai Courtney, and
Yes.
Tom Holland.
But
No.
essentially, Eddie Brock is the character who has mostly been this character of Venom. And he has always hated Peter Parker.
That's
and
the character name, Eddie Brock?
Eddie Brock is
Okay.
his name.
Yeah.
And so he's always been this villain. But in this movie, and I think lately even in the comics, he's an anti-hero.
Well, and that's just it. So in
And this brings us to where the Sony Spider-Man movies are now.
yes, because they couldn't make this into a Marvel Universe movie because Venom is owned by Sony, much like Spider-Man is owned by Sony.
And he was not part of the deal that brought Spider-Man into the Avengers.
No, but there's hope. They hope that there could be some sort of crossover, which is why they went from an R rating to a PG-13 rating.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to have some blend with the Spider-Man universe eventually.
Because if this was full-on rated R and then bringing Tom Holland over, it would not have fit at all.
Right.
No, it wouldn't fit at all.
But would it even fit now?
We'll see. I mean, this would have fit closer to a couple movies ago. Even
In
then,
The Amazing Spider-Man.
It may be the
I was
Amazing
gonna
Spider-Man
say-
in tone, but even then, tonally, we're going to get there in the review. So really quick, a little more history. Joel, you're very familiar with the animated series of Spider-Man from the 90s,
Right.
and you saw the origin of Venom in that.
Yeah, it's a alien goo coming from space.
Yes.
With J. Jonah Jameson's son, and then it ends up attaching itself to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man gets addicted to the power, but then they separate, and then he's fighting against him. He's kind of a foil to Spider-Man.
Yes.
In fact, people keep mistaking Venom for Spider-Man.
Right.
and Spider-Man gets a lot of the blame.
So what the reason we're giving all this context is because now you have the movie Venom, which has no Spider-Man and may not for about 3 or 4 years. Multiple Spider-Man sequels. And so what they did, they said, there's no Spider-Man involved in this origin, even though it is in the comics and the cartoon. So Eddie Brock is a fearless freelance reporter who has to find out the truth. And he's a good guy. Even
Why
though
is that so funny?
It's just a fearless reporter.
Yeah, reporter, because reporting's still a big thing, apparently. Anyways, he goes and he wants to take down this big corporation.
Think of him
which
like
has been
Gephardt.
Yes, except for he is trying to
Gephardt,
take down Elon Musk. And Elon Musk has been testing on humans. Don't quote me on that. and so he wants to
It's
take him
not
down.
really Elon Musk. It's a
Baconsale facts.
And while he's in the factory, this laboratory, he gets infected with this symbiote. Or
What?
symbiote, as it says
Yes.
in the
a
movie.
symbiote.
And then
That sounds cooler.
Then it becomes his inner voice and Venom. He and Venom counteracting with each other and a lot of violence.
And he's like,
Yes.
"Oh no, I didn't want to do that. Oh no."
Yeah, that's kind of it.
Kind of,
Yeah.
yes. And that's just it, is like the goo it needs a host. It can't survive in our atmosphere without a host. And whenever it gets inside someone, it speaks in third person plural or first person plural because it's one thing, but it's two beings. So that's why Venom always says, "We don't like this," or "We enjoy cookies," or whatever he's going to say.
I hope that's one of the things he says.
That is.
So how does it
almost-
get into Tom Hardy if it has to have a host all the time?
That's what Kent said. Is he gets in the laboratory and there's an accident. Typical superhero origin story kind of stuff.
I'm
Yes.
just wondering how he survived before if he didn't have a host before.
Well, it was contained in a container.
Jake,
we
it
didn't
was-
need a host.
Jake, you're asking too many questions.
Hold on.
Of a movie about alien goo that needs to infect people. I mean,
So let's just get into it then.
Okay.
Kent. So
Yes.
we basically gave this the plot synopsis.
This is where you guys give the grades.
Yeah, this is where we give the grades. Kent, I'm going to allow you to go first.
you're gonna make me go first.
I'm gonna allow
I
you to go
really
first.
wanted to hear what you had to say.
want you to go first.
Because Joel was so stoic during this movie, and it drove me crazy.
I leaned over and said something at one point.
Because yeah, you did. There were moments in this movie where I kind of chuckled. I went, because this movie really wants you to go, huh, I guess that's okay. And
Are you
that's-
laughing because these are jokes? Is that
Yeah,
what you're
no,
saying?
there are jokes, and here are where the jokes come from. And here is the best thing the movie does. The best thing the movie has going for it is Tom Hardy slumming it. He looks like garbage in this movie.
Slumming it. Oh, so
Slumming it.
he's not like dating a girl way below his class. Is that what you mean?
He's dating.
He's dating alien goo below his class.
Okay.
No, but the whole movie, he's messy and he looks dirty, and it seems like he doesn't even care about what kind of movie he's in. And so he's zany.
That's kind of Tom Hardy.
Well, it is Tom Hardy, but usually
It's
you
not
can't.
Inception Tom Hardy.
and
No,
it's
not Inception. That's true.
It's
He's
not
very clean
Dunkirk
cut
Tom
there.
Hardy.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's
yeah.
not Batman Tom Hardy.
Exactly. So he is like this Weasley, New Jersey guy who just starts talking to himself or talking to the like rich voice in his head, and the counterplay between them is what works in this movie. What doesn't work? Pretty much everything else.
Ooh.
Like I will say there is fun to be had with the action. I wish they would have stayed with some shots a little bit more so you could actually tell what was going on. But because this is very CG, you're like, I don't care. That was cool. Oh, no, wait, I don't care. And especially when, I don't want to get into spoilers, but things start fighting each other. It kind of lost it for me. And Michelle Williams, who is the ingenue in this movie, is so wasted. She is a bad...
Like she's literally high the entire time.
she is a bad actress in this movie.
I'm not going to say anything yet.
And I will say the dialogue in this movie was near miserable. But then every time in the movie...
Miserable, like cliched? Like it would just...
Cliched,
felt so-
and I'm not saying like I even... Okay, I'll just play my hand here. I did not hate this movie. In fact, I sat there and went, okay, I'm bored. Oh, but Tom Hardy is so much fun to watch. He is the only reason to watch this movie. And I could watch a whole movie of just him talking to the voice in his head. As far as a grade goes... It's somewhere between a D plus and a C minus.
So you liked it, but it's a D plus or a C minus?
It's not a Marvel movie, so he has to give it some support.
It is a Marvel
but
movie.
it's not very
but it's
good.
not a Marvel
It's,
movie.
it's almost
yeah,
like
it is, but
so.
not.
It's here's the line. Sorry, Joel, I'm taking way too long, but here's the line of what it doesn't know what it is. It takes itself so seriously as a movie and what the stakes are, and then when you see Tom Hardy just solo on screen, it's in on the joke. And so the movie is like, oh, no, we know what kind of movie we are. And Venom is actually kind of a funny character in his voice. And
is
then
he funny? Is he funny in the comics?
Well, because he comes from Spider-Man and he gets the one-liners from him.
Okay.
There is that, but it's all malicious. And so the movie Venom actually matches the character pretty well.
Interesting.
There's a little more death in the cartoon and comics as well, but I will say I'm going to give this one. I want to be gentle on it a little bit because I did enjoy Tom Hardy. C- right now.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Joel.
So I'll tell you what I liked about it. I think Venom looked good. Like the effect of Venom, like when he was full Venom.
So when he was slumming it, he could definitely go better.
No, I actually didn't like the look of Tom Hardy at all. Like the whole
he's
time,
greasy.
like, dude, just
Take a shower.
Yeah, seriously. But then when he became Venom, I was like, more of that. But good heavens, it took forever to get to that. Like, I was sitting there, I seriously thought it was like a half hour before we got any Venomness at all.
It was.
And I was watching it going, I really am not invested in this right now. Like, get to the good stuff. And then it got to the good stuff, and the good stuff was meh. Like, the fight sequences,
Yeah.
can't tell what's going on.
No.
There's blurs and there's action and stuff is happening and loud noises, but you're really it's like a Transformers fight in Michael Bay movie. Like just noise and movement. That's all you really see. And I'm sounding like an old man saying this. I realize that.
Did
you are. That's funny.
It sounds like you were really won over by the costume. I think the costume excels in this movie.
It's very good looking costume.
So would you say you just wanted to see that more because he's an imposing figure on screen?
Well, and I want to give this analogy too, Jacob.
Okay.
Imagine you're at a funeral.
Okay.
And someone there is giving the eulogy. And all of a sudden, a clown in a unicycle comes riding in and starts trying to tell jokes. Mm-hmm. That's the tone of this movie. Yeah. It's like this serious kind of
But the clown is funny. You're laughing at his jokes.
No, I wasn't. That was it, though. Like, okay, so the movie's plotting along in this very serious tone. And all of a sudden, they start making these jokes. And I was like, this doesn't feel like the same. This isn't appropriate for the situation. What are you doing? This is the wrong setting for this.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I was kind of pulled in and out of the movie. I had no idea what it was going for. I mean, they had the cheesiest, corniest lines come out of...
Wait for spoilers.
I know. Out of Michelle Williams and out of Tom Hardy and out of Venom.
So is this similar to like the Justice League issue where they're like it tonally it's like it's kind of serious. Oh no, we need to insert some jokes.
No, because they at least... I don't know. It felt like they kind of built up to that, whereas the jokes came out of nowhere. It was really like I was in a funeral and then a clown comes running in and I'm like, whoa, wrong.
But did
setting.
it feel needy and desperate? They're like, okay, we have
Yes.
to make this.
It felt like someone. It honestly felt to me like someone was like, "This is too serious. Let's punch it up a bit. Throw in a joke here. Throw in a joke here.
Not going to sell without
Don't change
jokes,
anything
guys.
else." Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
So
But the crowd loved the jokes.
okay, except
Guffaws.
the
No, behind us, people were going nuts.
even then, it was not as raucous as say Thor Ragnarok
Oh,
or
sure.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Well, it doesn't really attempt the Thor Ragnarok tone.
But I mean, the first half hour, I don't think I heard a peep out of
Thor
anybody.
Ragnarok was just comedy the whole time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But then even the comedy here, it wasn't like people were like dying laughing. It was kind of this ha ha ha. And
For example, and this is not a spoiler, but Venom is talking inside Tom Hardy's head and he goes, "You're a loser." And he goes, "That's okay. I'm a loser where I come from too."
On my planet, I'm a loser like you.
And you're like, "Ha, nah."
yeah.
That's kind of it. You want to be okay, and you're getting there.
Yeah. So there we go. There's our I got to get my review.
Yes.
2 stars.
Okay, and 2 stars is the equivalent of,
I didn't like it.
yeah.
Marnie
Like
plus half
2
a star.
stars. 2 stars out of 5. Marnie had a.
Is it better than Marnie?
It is. Marnie had a star and a half.
It's
So-
better than Marnie. Yeah.
No, but 2 stars out of 5 because this is one that I didn't really have high expectations going into this.
Yeah.
But I really was just kind of bored for the first part.
Sure.
And then annoyed for the middle. And then the ending, fine. But then it became this cliche.
So it's an hour and 44 minutes long.
And if someone said at the beginning that it was 2 hours and 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and I was like, you got to be kidding me. And so I was like, this is taking forever.
Yes.
And so it felt longer to me. But then it turned out to be like an hour 50 or something like that.
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
everyone.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh, is it time for spoilers?
Yes, we are going to spoil the movie now.
No. Here we go. Yay.
Yes. Spoilers.
Jake, there is a line at the end of this movie.
Oh, you're going to give that line right away?
Can I?
I'm
Please.
excited.
Oh, well,
So-
first of all, you need to realize.
Yes.
We got to set the tone a bit.
sure.
So Michelle Williams and Logan Marshall-Green broke up.
Tom Hardy.
They're the same person. But they break up really kind of abruptly.
Why
and
is
not
Tom
really
Hardy the
earned.
upgrade guy?
No, because okay, so Tom Hardy and Logan Marshall-Green, I get them so confused with one
They
another.
look exactly alike.
And literally, there's parts of this movie when it looks like Upgrade because Venom is taking control of his body.
Yes.
And he's just moving around kind of like on Upgrade, like
Okay.
Logan Marshall-Green on Upgrade. But anyway, they break up, And then Venom is, I mean, he's not, he's an alien. He's kind of a wacky alien in this movie who doesn't know he's not supposed to eat people. And then he kills people.
What?
And he does all these terrible, horrible things. And he's supposed to be the bad guy, but then they keep trying to make him the good guy, for example.
Oh, well, Jake, actually, ask us what the point of the aliens were in this movie. What did they actually want to accomplish? Joel, I'm wondering if we could even say, because there is a big, bad Venom in this movie, and his name is Riot. And he is trying to get back on Elon
He's another
Musk's
symbiote.
So we have multiple.
There were 4 symbiotes that came down in the spaceship. One of which crashed in Malaysia.
Darn it,
And then the other
spaceships.
3 made it back to the lab.
Yeah.
One of which infected Tom Hardy, and the other one infected another person.
So the
there's
big
still another
bad,
one.
he's trying to get on a shuttle to go back to his home planet?
Okay, so
What was that?
So okay,
Because I was like, let him go. That's a good idea.
I think I figured it out.
Okay.
So they come to this Earth, and their plan is just to inhabit everyone and then
And eat
eat everyone and then move on. But then Venom decides. So they have a bunch of people waiting on an asteroid or a comet. Millions of symbiotes waiting on an asteroid or comet that they want to go get and bring back.
Oh,
to the
is that
planet.
what it was? Okay.
Yes. So he was trying to get the rocket to go out and get the other ones and bring it back.
Okay.
And then Venom, out of nowhere, suddenly says,
I don't want him to go anymore.
and
Venom says, I think I like this planet.
I think
now.
I like this planet now. I want to stay here with you.
and he's like, well, what changed your mind?
You did, Eddie. You did.
And there's no reason. And that's the ending?
No reason.
No.
No. The end. He's going to go
So-
up the line.
The ending.
This is the only part I reacted the whole night.
I actually saw it, Joel, and it was so funny. Venom seemingly dies. Okay, saves Eddie Brock's life.
Because apparently fire and sound affect Venom.
Yes.
And he blows up the rocket and he's falling down and he turns into a parachute
To save Eddie Brock.
To save Eddie Brock, then catches on fire.
Goodbye,
Then Eddie
Eddie.
falls into the water, and then Adele starts singing, "This is the end."
Is it really Adele?
I'm rolling in the deep.
No, it's actually Eminem that does the end credit music.
So then the camera switches over, and we have a beautiful street in San Francisco, and Michelle Williams is sitting there with Tom Hardy, and they're like, "Hey, pretty crazy. We broke up a while ago, right?" And they're just kind of talking. And then she looks over at him and she goes, "Sorry about Venom."
Like he's a pet. Like
Sorry about
she says,
Venom.
sorry about Venom.
And by the way, he's eaten dozens of people at this point.
He bites heads off people. Which
Sorry about Venom.
and I couldn't help it. I just went like just kind of scoffed at it
Because it was like
It's the most ridiculous
It was like,
thing.
I definitely have breast cancer. Sorry about Venom.
That's a room reference, just so
Yes.
you know. No, but so I mean, he killed tons of people, and he's a bad guy, and yet they treat it like, oh shucks, our good buddy Venom is no longer around. And it's
that
like, he tried
parasite
to
I have
kill
in
you.
me. Yes.
He tried to kill you.
Are they really trying to say that he's dead too? Since
Well, and they kind of make it look like it for a little bit. That's what bugged me too. Like
Yeah.
they kept trying to act like they were going to kill off Tom Hardy.
Yes.
And no one's going to buy that in
Right.
the middle of the movie. Like there's this scene where he gets stabbed through the gut near the end, and like they're acting like he's going to die, and I'm like, no one thinks he's going to die.
But he could have, because this will be will it be the only Venom movie? Will this movie make so much money?
29% on Rotten Tomatoes currently.
So what do you think that means, though? Because this was projected to make about $150 million. That maybe brings it down to $80 million at this point, just based on word
you
of
mean
mouth.
opening weekend?
Opening weekend.
Wow, it was projected 150.
Yes, because we have been in a really, really terrible
There's
movie
not much
season.
going on. There's not much going on. But this movie honestly does not feel like it should get us out of a rut, because it's not a movie worthy of getting us out of a rut.
If it makes 80, it'll get a sequel.
Oh, man, I'm trying to think of other things I want to just pick apart right now, Ken. For example,
Sure.
So they have this state-of-the-art facility in San Francisco where the evil Elon Musk character, he is experimenting on humans and trying the symbiotes to see. It's like a host versus graft thing.
Okay.
Where you put the in and it may take, it may not, but a lot of people are dying. And so then one of the scientists has a conscience
Or don't the
about this.
symbiotes want to be in anybody though?
No, well,
Only a good match.
It has to match. Otherwise, it'll eat their organs and they'll die.
Okay.
So the scientist gets a conscience and says, I'm going to go tell Eddie Brock about this. And she tells him, and then they end up walking into this, like I said, high-tech facility that apparently has no security cameras whatsoever.
There's a security guard.
No,
Is everything okay?
No security cameras.
Oh, well, yes.
Because they're like, they walk in there, no disguise, no nothing. She walks him right into the lab. Then she distracts the security guard. And the next day they're like, what happened? We don't know what happened. And then they bring in the
This is a big hole.
They bring in the scientist, and I thought, oh, they're going to show her the footage. No, because then afterwards they're like, we know you brought someone in. Who was it? And I'm like, the dude, Eddie Brock didn't even have a hoodie on. Like, he's just walking around. So apparently they have no security cameras in this
after
facility.
this break-in, and because they really wanted to rush,
I know.
they wanted to.
No, it's really not.
They wanted to rush to the ending, so we have the big CEO walking around his entire building. There's no one else there, and he's like, "It's a scary movie at this point." He's like, "Hello, what was that sound? I'm a bad guy. I shouldn't be scared, and the audience won't care." All of a sudden, a little girl who is one of the parasites,
the symbiote
is in the building again, and she's just there after the break-in, and they should have increased security.
Yeah, well then, and then
he becomes the big bad.
He becomes the big bad. So it's like a gray Venom versus a black Venom. So it's like Black Panther all over again, where it's a CGI fight at the end.
Yes.
Right.
But the funny thing about it is,
gooey.
He goes into the control room.
Gooey
He's like,
fight.
we're going to launch the rocket, and then he kills everyone in the control room. But apparently that's where all the employees are, because the rest of the building's just empty. Like, it was the weirdest. I don't get their timekeeping and payroll structure, because I don't know who's.
This is what we're worried. If you had to think about that while watching Venom,
That's the trouble. I mean, it tells a lot about the storytelling if it takes you out of the movie because these little details aren't checked.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know? Like, that's a big
So,
thing.
were you okay with Tom Hardy then, or not? It sounds like not really.
I really think he was kind of just anyone could have played him. I didn't think he offered a lot to the role.
Sure.
I think any homeless person could have walked off the street and played that part.
It literally could have been Jai Courtney, and everything would have been fine.
or Logan Marshall-Green.
But I think Tom Hardy brings gravitas to the movie, because if it was anyone else, people would be like, "Oh, this will be remade in a few years."
Except if it was Logan Marshall-Green, it'd be called Upgrade, and it would have been better.
And it was better.
It was better. Upgrade
Isn't
was
that
better.
interesting?
What else? There were so many other things, like even just the lines he said when they're walking along, and they have this like buddy relationship where Venom will be like, "Can I eat him?" "No, you can't eat him." "Why not? He looks tasty." And it's just like,
Is he a bad guy? How do we know if someone is good or bad?
Like that's the little conversation.
Oh, when they say the turn to win line, they didn't take it out. I was so happy.
Seriously?
They left it in. It's like right at the end. Oh yeah. So they
That should have been the last line.
It was.
There's a Stanley cameo, and people applauded very riotously for that.
Indeed.
And Stanley just looks old. I felt bad for him when I saw him.
Yeah.
2 post-credit sequences.
Oh, I was going to ask.
One of which
Are they worth sitting for?
The first one for fans of the comic, yes. It's okay. Yeah, we're in spoiler territory.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson. So okay, Eddie Brock goes to the prison to interview a inmate who
because he's a ferocious freelance reporter.
Yeah, and apparently he gets rights to go talk to the serial killer who's being treated unfairly. It looks like Carrot Top from the back, but it's Woody Harrelson as this character named Cletus Cassidy, who in the comics becomes Carnage, the Red Venom. And the Red Venom, Carnage, is terrifying because it's Venom, but in a serial killer's body.
Yeah, so he gives
And so he goes, and of course he goes, "There will be, when I get out, there will be carnage," and smiles at the camera. And the crowd went crazy. Then we waited through the entire credits, which were really long.
There were really long credits.
And we saw a 4-minute trailer for Into the Spider-Verse.
Like, I thought it was going to be another Easter egg, but instead it's just like...
I watched that trailer today.
And then it's like, meanwhile, in another universe, and it shows this whole clip, and I got, oh, okay, Venom's going to show up any minute. Cartoon version of Venom's going to show up any minute. And then, it was just a trailer for...
And they basically showed us a movie that we'd rather be watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one looked better.
Yeah, that movie looks good.
Yeah. Michelle Williams, like, really, I just kept watching it. At one point, she gets the Venom on her, and she becomes a symbiote.
Yeah. She reminded me a lot of how much Natalie Portman was wasted in the first 2 Thor movies.
Okay.
Like a great actress, and she just has to stand there and be like, "Oh, no, don't go." Okay.
Yeah, well, and just their reactions. Like, I mean, he's killing all these people in a building, and then she walks in, and she's like, "Eddie, what are you doing?" And then he's like, comes out, he's like, "I don't know, I've got a parasite."
Parasite?
Yeah, that's what I'm calling you.
Don't call me that.
And then Michelle Williams is like, "Get in the car. We're going to the hospital now." Like, bossing him around. And I'm
I like her. Yeah, I like her.
You want to see this so bad, Jake?
No, I don't.
But it just felt so corny. Anyway, I didn't.
So would
like
you say
it.
skip it altogether?
I really don't see a lot of value in it, other than because, like I said, the action wasn't exciting. They were relying on loud noises and blurs.
If I may, if you were 13 years old and you hadn't seen any other superhero movie, would you like this movie?
Yeah.
Maybe. Although this is like one of those Netflix.
That's quite the standard. Yeah. You've never seen a superhero movie before. Would you want to see this one?
And the answer is yes.
Well,
yeah.
also just content wise, because this was going to be R.
Yeah.
And then it dropped down to PG-13. Ken, do you think R rating really would have helped this?
No, unless the director had full control taken away from him. But no, everything was so rushed, and it wouldn't. It would have just been a gross, as far as content and head biting goes, bad movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Well, that's just it. It's so I feel like this is one of those Netflix shows, Jacob, where they're going for the kind of the PG rating, but with a lot of S words.
Yeah.
That's really all you get the entire time. And that's them trying to be edgy, I guess. But it just didn't feel like it ever quite reached that. It was too goofy.
It is really goofy.
Cannot wait to see it tomorrow.
As you should. So there is our spoiler-free and spoiler-full review of Venom. Let us know what you think, though. Like, we're not always right. Well, Kent's not always right.
I'm always right.
I'm always right.
Aw.
But let us know what
Nice
you
try.
think of Venom if you go see it. Or if you don't want to see it, hey, we just saved you a couple bucks and a couple hours of your time.
You're welcome.
Until next time.
Elon Musk has been testing on humans. Don't quote me on that.